We are incredibly excited to be here, and I want to talk to you about sort of how our vision of the gaming world has changed in the last several years, and why we are incredibly excited about what's happening in Eastern Europe. So when we start, I just want to start by giving a very brief overview of our history, how we shifted ourselves as a gaming platform, and what that shift meant for developers in the world. So let's start with some numbers. So we have about 1.1 billion users. Again, we have 1.1 billion users and 819 million users on mobile. That kind of makes me like giggle because it's a large number. It also shows that the amount of opportunity available for developers out there to reach these people. We also are the largest gaming platform in the world. We also are a platform, meaning there are also non-games available, but just looking at the pure numbers, we have 260 million people playing games on Facebook.com alone. So, you know, this has for us meant two things. One is our users love the games because they delight the games that is developed by you guys. They delight our users. It increases engagement on our site. And it also makes a lot of money. So if you ask, you know, even internally at Facebook, I don't think people fully yet realize the power of games, what that means. In the last 6 months, this has changed a lot. And this change has actually partially, in a major way, been due to the success we have seen in Eastern Europe. So at any given time, about 20%, 25% of Facebook revenue is coming from gaming. And with that, our team is growing. We now have about 20 people based in Europe dedicated to supporting European gaming developers. And European gaming developers have taken over the world. No longer the conversations are about, you know, the North American developers, how we support them. We still love them, we still support them and everything. But Europe has literally eaten the world with the rise of players like King.com, Nordeus, and others. So with that, we have a dedicated team. That is actually, we have 4 people here today that, you know, is a big contingent for us. So come find us, let's talk. But a big part of this European push has been the push that we made in Eastern Europe. We work with some of the largest game developers from, you know, Russian-speaking countries, ex-CIS countries. And these are just some of our partners. I apologize if I didn't include everyone, but we work with these developers every single day, and we try to make their games, whether they be on mobile, whether they be on Facebook, successful. So how have we evolved as a gaming platform? What's sort of the top 3 things on our mind? What is most important to us? So I want to distill this down to 3 items. One is, I often hear talk about, yeah, mobile. Mobile, for us, we're a mobile-first company. And I am actually going to talk to you mostly about how to use Facebook on mobile. But our desktop platform, our Canvas business, has grown in a way that surprised everybody. And it's still continuing to grow, both in terms of users and in terms of monetization. The second item that we see is the rise of the mid-core and core games. And we love these kind of games. And I'll talk to you about why we love these kind of games, what it means for our users, and how you can build these kind of games on Facebook. And third is using Facebook and mobile as a cross-platform distribution mechanism. So let's delve in. Some more numbers. I love numbers, so I'm a numbers guy. We have over 260 million people playing games on Facebook today. In the last 12 months, we increased the number of payers on our platform 27%. And in only the first half of this year, our users have spent $1.5 billion on games. That's a huge number. And also, the game installations have gone up 75% in the last, I think, 6 months. So we are doing well. So desktop is healthy, it's growing. And if you look at these numbers, we are starting to take an ever-increasing pie of the games as a service business. So we paid out, and this number makes me really excited, we paid out about $2 billion to developers in 2012. And this number is going to increase this year. And we are here to make sure that a fair chunk of this pie also goes to Eastern European developers. When I talk to folks a lot, and they say, I build games on Facebook.com, but the market seems somewhat saturated. And I always tell them the same example. How many of you, I did, but how many of you thought the hidden object gaming market was saturated 10 months ago? Only me? Okay. So then comes this guy is from France, out of nowhere. They put their game onto Facebook. They go to 10 million users in 4 months. 10 million users in 4 months. And my team from Dublin, who is, the marketing team is not here, so I can say this freely. The thing that delights me is they did so without spending a dime on advertising. All virality. They built their games around the viral mechanics that's available on Facebook, really high quality open graph stories, amazing integration, and they reached 10 million users. They're one of the top grossing users for us as well. Another success story, now I think I'll see a lot more hands. How many people play Candy Crush? There you go, okay. So Candy Crush is another amazing story. These guys, based out of London, have been developing games on their portal for tens of years, and 2 years ago they decided to basically say, you know what, I have this game, I'm going to put this game onto Facebook. I'm going to add a social layer to the game by putting a map that shows where your friends are. The rest is literally history. 0 to 200 million plus MAU in less than a year, right? And these are the kind of stories that show how successful we are in desktop business. It's the #1 grossing app on Facebook.com, iOS, and Android. We also have this same phenomenon happening in Eastern Europe. So we came to Russia for an event last year around October. We met a lot of the developers developing games for Vkontakty, Odnoklasniki, Muimir, and also mobile developers. And one of these games, Megapolis, went to #25 grossing app on Facebook.com in less than 6 months. And also, by using our mobile app ads products, actually before that, the thing I want to kind of leave with you is, when we talk to Eastern European developers, we are very excited. We want you guys to literally take over the gaming world. There's no reason with the talent you have, with the amount of information, the gaming background you have, like everybody should be playing games that are built in Eastern Europe. And Megapolis is a good success story for that. 99% of their users are based out of Russia. So I kind of want to tell everyone, don't focus on your local market. That's why we have a lot of companies from Israel who are successful, because Israel by definition is a small market. So they have to expand globally. Megapolis also seen great success. They reached #1 free app on iOS, and they were the top 5 grossing app on iOS just using Facebook products. So this makes us very excited. So this shows you we have channels on mobile that also works, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. The next important pillar for us is the rise of mid-core and hardcore games. We have amazing games that are coming onto Facebook that are going to redefine what you think of Facebook games. 2010, 2012, we were about cow clickers, city builders. There's nothing wrong with those. We love them. Our users love them. 2011, 2012, we saw a lot of match 3, hidden object games, casino games. Again, we love them. I think in the next year, we're going to be mainly about these kind of mid-core, hardcore games. And just some more examples. There's companies that are building business models on this. Kyiv is a great example. Kabam is a great example. And another gaming company from Russia, Game Insight, they're bringing so many games onto Facebook. We love that because it delights, it diversifies our portfolio, gives our users who don't necessarily enjoy playing hidden object games, casino games, something else to do. And they monetize really, really well. So the other thing that we said is, if we want to really be serious about hardcore games, we need to really kind of think about what it would take for us to provide all the tools for developers to bring their games onto Facebook.com. So with that in mind, we formed a technology partnership with Unity. And the goal of this partnership was to make it seamless for you to bring your mobile games onto Facebook.com. When I started at Facebook, we had about 7 million Unity installs, and that was 18 months ago. Today, the shareable number is 85 million. Again, in less than 18 months, we grew this number from 7 million to 85 million. That makes me want to cry. I'm so happy by this, because this means that you can bring your mobile game, which is a core game, hardcore game, put it on Facebook, and be off and running literally like within a day. An amazing success story of this is a company with a studio based in St. Petersburg, headquarters in Tel Aviv. It's a company called D-Media. D-Media is a publisher and developer of games, and they do trial extreme. So we met them in an event in Tel Aviv, and I really liked this game. So I said, you should put this game onto Canvas. And my friend laughed at me. He said, that'll take too long, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it's Unity game. You can bring this, you integrate with our Unity SDK. Within a week, they were live on Canvas. And within 4 months, they got 6 million installs. So this is another great story of what we can do for you on mobile. If you have mobile games, great, we love it. Bring them onto Canvas too, why not? The next thing I will say is cross-platform. My favorite example of this. I work with a company called Playtika that is based in Israel. And Playtika launched their game. It's a slots game, and they launched it on vKontakte first, and they were on Odnoklassniki. And they said, you know, we're going to try this thing on Facebook and see what happens. And they put the game on Facebook. It was a great success in like 4 months, and they were very happy with it. And as they saw the shift to mobile, they didn't really have a, you know, how do we get mobile users kind of strategy. They said, we have all these fans that are playing Slotomania on Facebook.com. We have a fan page. We're just going to put a banner there. We're going to say, bring your games. We now have these games available on iOS. Within 1 week, by pushing that audience they gathered on Facebook.com, they became a top grossing app on iOS. December 2011, they did the same for Android. They became a top grossing app on Android just by using our fan page alone. Another example, and I am incredibly addicted to this game to a fault, is our friends from Nordeus. At first, I was like, wow, this game is unbelievable, amazing. I was playing on Canvas, and the same story there. They used their Facebook audience to become top grossing on iOS and on Android. And if you look today at the top grossing charts, 80% of those games are connected to Facebook. It's not a coincidence. So that's how we shifted so far. So let's talk about how we're going to shift going forward. So our plan is very simple. We want to become a one-stop shop to provide you the tools you need to build, grow, and promote your games. And the build pillar is very interesting because we bought a company called Parse. So now we're talking about mobile games as the future of gaming. We are fully bought into that. And we are shifting our strategy to make sure we have all the tools that you need. So Parse is a company that we bought. Super excited about this. And it's basically a one-stop shop that allows you to do all the unsexy stuff on the back end. That's how the CEO told me what they do. And they have data services available. They have social plugins. They have push notifications, cloud code, hosting, analytics. And it's really an amazing company. If you haven't checked it out yet, you really should. Take a look at what they can do for you. And the reason we're excited about this, it's a true cross-platform play. Parse is everywhere. They literally support iOS, Android. They have a Unity plugin. And what they can provide to you is really great. So please check them out. And now Facebook gives you this tool to basically take care of all your backend stuff so you can focus on actually building an amazing game. Next is grow. So we talked about this quite a bit in the past years in Moscow, in London, everywhere. And the question that I kind of want to ask guys is like, you should always be asking yourself, what have I done to be visible on Facebook mobile feed lately? What have you done? And in the past, we talked about, you know, put the Facebook login button in a visible place, make sure you're using SSO. You should all be doing that. But there's a lot of resistance from game developers that I talk to. So requests, feed, Open Graph, they're all amazing tools. And you can get these tools if you actually get the users to connect via Facebook to your mobile game. And by the way, if you do that, our data shows that they are worth 3 to 5 times more to you in terms of LTV than someone who's not logged into Facebook. So if you get someone to log into your game with Facebook, you get less churn, much more re-engagement, and much, much, much higher monetization. So requests, feed, Open Graph are great. But what I'm most excited about is this. We launched what we call the native Share Dialog. The documentation is on the developer website. This allows you to publish to the Facebook newsfeed without the user being logged into Facebook. It's something that everybody should do. It's like 3-4 lines of code. I honestly don't know why you wouldn't be doing that. This is one of the most powerful tools we have launched, all free, organic, and it's for you, ready to use. So, as I said, the numbers are not a coincidence. We have 50% of the top 400 iOS apps that are integrated to Facebook. 80% of the top 10 apps on iOS and Android are connected to Facebook deeply. And only through the organic channels, not including the paid channels, we've sent about 263 million clicks to app stores. This number also makes me very happy, because this also shows that virality on mobile works. So the last bucket, and this is the part, if you forget everything else from my presentation, I want you to really focus on this one. I'm so excited. 1 in every 4 minutes spent on mobile phones is spent inside the Facebook application. I'll repeat that. 1 in every 4 minutes spent on smartphones and tablets is spent inside the Facebook application. That means we are the new homepage of mobile. So how do you get the most out of the homepage of mobile? By the way, we're also far ahead of everybody else on this, right? And if you add Instagram, that becomes another 27%. And I want to just sort of give you an idea of why I'm so excited with a story. So we love telling stories at Facebook. And when we first launched this product, I couldn't really understand the power of it so much. So I was walking in London. I'm originally from Turkey, as most of you guys know. And I was walking in London, and I was going through my newsfeed, just like everybody does. I was going through my newsfeed, and I saw this thing, and it just kind of like looked out of place to me. And I was like, what is that? They targeted Turkish-speaking people living in London to serve them an ad for cheap calls to Turkey. Just think about the power of targeting you have with these units, the identity information you have, how engaged the users are. And I was super excited. And I actually downloaded the app, and I made calls, and I became a paying user. And I'm like one of those guys, if it's not a game, I don't really install any apps from ads. So with that story, I'll go back to some of the numbers. We have, as I said, 1.1 billion people, 819 million users on mobile. We have 1 out of every 4 minutes spent on the Facebook application. 47% of our users are mobile only. Average user in Facebook accesses the app 14 times a day. And most of this time they spend in the app, and I mean most, not like 50, 60%, most, is spent inside the mobile newsfeed. And this gives you a remarkable opportunity to get discovered by your users. As an app developer, you're in a very crowded market. You are one of the many people, you're part of the gold rush. And to distinguish yourself in the gold rush, you should do what other game developers are doing that are based in Eastern Europe. These units were an immediate hit with Eastern European game developers. Some of our biggest spenders on these ad units and the happiest spenders on ad units are coming from countries like Ukraine, Belarus, Russia. And some examples, and the reason I'm going to show these examples is I'm going to show the evolution of these ad units, and I'll pressure you, I'll challenge you to say, right now is the time to buy these ad units. Because look at who's buying them. GE started buying. Let me go back. Hotels Tonight, Groupon. So we started with performance-based developers, and we're now shifting into more of the brands who have bigger budgets. There's still ample opportunity here. So with that, I will go to the last part of the talk, which is about some of the announcements that we made. These units were working so well. We have close to now 10,000 advertisers, 46 million installs driven every month. And I used to work at another ad network before, and like the ad network that I used to work was a phenomenal place. I love that ad network. But the delivery of these units was very limited. You get a banner without any targeting information, really not rich context that delivers you. Look at this. Just look at this. Short, sweet message, pictures. It's right in front of your face. It's just a very, very powerful product. Couple days ago, we are also now, by the way, doing these for re-engagement. And I'm going to talk to you about that because right now, we have so many products. You can do something like this. Say you're a casino developer, or say you're fab.com. If you're a casino developer, you can come to us and tell us, Facebook, show me people that look like the people who are monetizing in my app. Or find me users that look like my whales. That's something that no other platform in the world can do. And the targeting options are endless. Like you can target Android, iOS, people on Wi-Fi, different devices. We have what we call lookalike audiences that you upload the IDFAs to us, and then we say, we're going to find people that look like those people for you. And everybody's using these. I mean, just look at some of the numbers. 5 times higher app install rates for Fab. 10x greater likelihood to purchase. 10x. 2x increase in LTV. And because of this, we're now being told we are the top driver of awareness in mobile apps. By the way, 75% of all smartphone owners can be reached via these ads. And the targeting opportunities are literally endless. Just like that developer who decided to serve me an ad in London because I spoke Turkish. So age, gender, geo, device, OS, interest, broad categories, partner categories. If you're doing a dating app, you can show a picture of someone that looks like Rihanna to people who like Rihanna's page. This is the only platform in the world that you can do that. And custom audiences and lookalikes. I won't bore you with the details of these. I'm here all 3 days, so come find me if you want to talk to us about it. So the last point, Facebook.com is not enough. Mobile is not enough. We say, and my boss trademarked this word, big on Facebook, big on mobile. So with that, I'll leave you to the wonderful MC. And that's it.
Thank you, Akin. Are you able to take a couple of questions? Questions for Akin?
Hi, I'm developer, so I'm interested in Facebook on this point of view. You said about your partnership with Unity, so we have a new game created on Unity SDK, and as I understand, we can freely port this game on Facebook. Yep. Did you know we have changed some game content to port this game from iOS to Facebook, or we can freely do it?
You can freely do it. I don't understand fully the question.
Is there some performance restrictions when we port a game from iOS to Facebook?
No.
No?
There will be restrictions based on what browser your users are seeing, which countries your users are from. But we now have a new mechanism which, for apps, when you upload, they will go through a very quick manual process. So if it makes through that review process, then you are good. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Hold on just a second. I have a translator for you because the next question's going to be in Russian.
Okay.
You don't speak Russian, right?
I don't speak Russian. Not yet.
Вы меня слышите? Nice. Хорошо. Меня зовут Игорь, я из компании Apps Ministry. Я хотел бы у вас спросить по поводу интегрируемых модулей статистики. Если работать с Unity, с вами на Фейсбуке, есть ли у вас?
Could you start again? Sorry.
Окей. Хорошо. Итак, если я разрабатываю проект на Unity и хочу его интегрировать на Facebook, предоставляете ли вы какие-то модули статистики? Или я могу использовать любые модули статистики? Расскажите мне немного вот о статистике, используя Unity.
You get the question okay?
Yeah. So we provide analytics information through insights, and we have a very big project right now to make insights actually much more meaningful to developers. And in about a month's time, you will have all the information you want from insights. We also don't have any restrictions whatsoever on who you want to choose as your analytics partner. So you can choose whoever you want and work with them.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
When you're pursuing a strategy of distributing a game on Facebook and on mobile and connecting the two audiences,
Yep.
how important is that you connect gameplay across those platforms and save progress across those platforms and make that a true cross-platform experience?
It's an awesome question, thanks. It's very important. We always advocate that. And the reason being is, through our research, we found out that there's an increasing overlap between people who are playing on multiple devices. The last thing you want to do is have the user feel like you're cheating them by not saving their progress, by not saving their investment. We believe it's very, very important. That said, we don't make it a requirement. For some genres, for some games, because of the characteristics of gameplay, that won't make sense. However, we are working on something that's going to be a big game changer, and that will only work for synced apps, basically.
We have time for one more question for Akin. Don't get a lot of time to talk to the head of Facebook Games in Europe, so now's the time. You wowed them. Their minds are blown. Thank you very much, Akin.
Pleasure.